For dinner, I am making stuffed peppers, which is one of my absolute favorite dishes. It's full of vegetables, full of protein if you choose to add meat. It's a dish that my mom made me all the time when I was growing up, and now I've developed my own recipe for it. I'll start by taking a sharp knife and cutting them in half. What's really important is to split that stem in two as well. I like to choose peppers at the grocery store that are kind of a rounder shape, and that helps with this. Just do it very gently. And what I'm going to do is take my knife and cut right across this line so the stem stays attached, but we get rid of all of these seeds. And once you've made those cuts, you can just gently pull out all the seeds. So I'll take these peppers and I'll line them up in a Pyrex baking dish. Next thing that I want to do is just lightly brush all of these peppers with olive oil. I'll just take each pepper and lightly brush the outside and the inside. Does not need to be perfect. Now that the peppers are prepped, I'm gonna start preparing all of the vegetables for the filling. I like to use bell peppers, onion. You can use either a yellow or a red onion. I just happen to have a red onion, but yellow works great too. I'm adding mushrooms in, and then lots of fresh herbs. All of this is gonna get toasted along with some rice, and then we're gonna stuff the peppers with it and bake them. We'll want to chop the peppers up into small, relatively even size. I say about that big is perfect. When preparing the peppers, I start by removing the stem, and I'm going to go ahead and give it a dice. I want it to be around the same size as the peppers that we just chopped. The next things that I'm going to prepare are the fresh herbs. I'm using fresh oregano, and I also have fresh dill, and they smell incredible. You can use dried oregano for this dish if you have it. I would recommend fresh dill over dry dill. It's a bit more aromatic when I cook with it, and the flavor comes forward a bit more. Onions always make me cry every time I chop them. I've heard so many pieces of advice around how to stop onions from making your eyes water when you chop, but none of them have worked for me. Next step for this recipe is to prepare the filling. And so we're gonna take all these vegetables that we just chopped up and cook them in a pan so they get nice and caramelized, toasted along with the rice, and then we're gonna stuff the peppers with that filling. I'm preheating the oven to 400 degrees Fahrenheit, and I'm gonna start by heating up some olive oil in a pan. You'll know that the pan is hot enough to put in your vegetables once the oil takes on this shimmery quality to it. I'm also going to add a bit of salt at this stage. This will just help all of the water be released from the peppers and from the onion. Give that a good stir so that all these vegetables are coated in the olive oil. Now that these have cooked down a bit, but are not completely cooked, I'm going to add all of my mushrooms as well. Now that these vegetables have caramelized, I'm going to add in the garlic. And I'm also going to go ahead and add about 1/2 cup of rice. Now we're going to add some stock. It's important not to let the rice cook all the way at this stage because it'll continue cooking in the oven once we've filled the peppers with it. We don't want the rice to become soggy and overcooked. You want it to have that delicious bite when it's done. Great thing about this dish is that you can make it either vegetarian or with meat, and both ways it's absolutely delicious. Sometimes I make it vegetarian. Today I decided that I did want to cook it with meat, so in a separate pan I've browned some spicy Italian chicken sausage. Once our rice mixture is almost complete, I'm going to add that chicken sausage in and incorporate it right before I stuff the peppers. Now that the rice mixture is done cooking, I'm going to add in the chicken and our herbs that we chopped. I'm seasoning these peppers to give them a little bit of extra flavor. Then I simply take the stuffing and fill the peppers. As a final touch for these before they go in the oven, I'm going to add a crispy topping. I'm going to put some Parmesan cheese and also some panko breadcrumbs on. I've preheated the oven to 400 degrees Fahrenheit, and now I'm going to let these roast. This is what the peppers look like when they're done roasting, and you can see that the top has become nice and golden and crispy. And now I'm going to go eat dinner. Thanks for cooking with me today.